The 2026 World Cup brings its first huge surprise as Cape Verde manages to hold Spain to a goalless draw. On the face of it, a lot of people were surprised, and I was surprised too, I won't lie, that this match against Spain ended 0-0, but it should have ended with a lot more goals. Let's just say that if we simulated this match over and over again, it wouldn't end 0-0 too many times. Even before the tournament started, in my power rankings, I ranked Cape Verde relatively low, but I said that in my eyes, they could be a dark horse. Not because I know any of their players personally, I don't know the players themselves, but just from seeing first where their players play. They have players in the Dutch league, in the Portuguese league, and second, and more importantly, the fact that they beat Cameroon at home in the qualifiers. If I told you that Cameroon managed to get a draw against Spain, or that Cameroon wasn't supposed to finish last in their group, it wouldn't have surprised people as much, because Cameroon has a lot more history and is seen as a much higher quality team. But if Cape Verde managed to beat them in the qualifiers, then it's probably not for nothing. So without seeing a single one of their matches before this World Cup, I estimated that they could cause problems and even take points in their group, especially against Uruguay and Saudi Arabia, but I didn't think they'd do it against Spain. That's a huge surprise. But what's even more surprising in this match is that usually when teams park the bus, as people like to say, and play defensively, mostly trying to waste time, which is natural against a team like Spain, whose midfield is 10 levels above Cape Verde's and maybe the best in Europe on paper, together with Portugal, they held the ball 74% of the time, took 27 shots on goal. But what really caught my eye was the fact that the game was actually played for 66 minutes after the match. I posted a story saying that these are the most beautiful stories to see in the World Cup, and people told me, you're a sadist, how can you enjoy watching a 0-0? But honestly, I enjoyed watching this 0-0. In the end, I saw a team that didn't waste time, actually played on the field, committed only one foul in 90 minutes, and it was really crazy to see them play with such sacrifice and fighting spirit. And you also need luck, let's say, with a very good performance from their goalkeeper, who also became a social media sensation and gained millions of followers. So yes, these are the stories I personally love in the World Cup, especially at these stages, which are usually pretty boring, to be honest. If Spain had won, let's say 3-4 or 5-0 like most people expected, it would have been boring after the second goal, because it would have been clear that Cape Verde couldn't come back from that, and the match would have turned into real garbage time, where all we'd be doing is just waiting to see exactly how the match would end, like what happened with Germany against Curacao, for example. On the other hand, what bothers me is that because the groups have so many teams, it creates a situation where even Spain's draw isn't that exciting. It's not like Spain stopped being favorites or one of the favorites to win the World Cup, and this match probably doesn't really affect whether Spain advances or not. What could have an impact is whether Spain might get a tougher opponent in the next round than they would have if they had finished first. On the other hand, even if they had finished first, it doesn't guarantee that on the other side of the knockout stage they would get an easy draw. In the end, you know how these things go. The group stage right now, to be honest, isn't that interesting, and most teams advance from it. Because of stories like these, it does get interesting and fun, but the real excitement obviously only really starts later. And don't sleep on Cape Verde. Even though the World Cup has expanded to 48 teams, they didn't get there by accident, and who knows, maybe they can sneak through somehow via third place. That would be interesting.